education will be what it should be. Her name was Sandra, just an ordinary name. She lived in rural Alabama, just an ordinary place. Her house, made of wood, was on an ordinary street. She went to school, graduated, just an ordinary feat. She worked, played, and went to church. It was an ordinary life. She accepted poverty, injustice, and racism as the victim's ordinary plight. Oh, she occasionally gave a contribution to a charity of her ordinary choice, but she did nothing to disturb the comfort of her ordinary life. One day, it was a June day, just an ordinary day. An old man, ragged and worn, passed her ordinary way. "My good madam," he spoke, "I need your help to live another extraordinary day." "But sir, you are a stranger and not of my ordinary place. To help you would be an ordinary disgrace." She walked away from him into the path of a car, traveling at an extraordinary pace. The old man, without hesitation, went hurling in the street, pushed her aside, but the car broke his stride, and he lay dying in the street. She kneeled, startled by his fury, and wept by his side. And her eyes fell upon his cheek, and joined the tears coming from his eyes. Like two mighty rivers meeting, depth, life retreating, she saw the mightiness of life. It was an extraordinary sight. So you see, no matter how simple and ordinary people appear to be, they have the power to make a difference in their time, in their space, in an extraordinary way. Thank you very much. While y'all think of a question, I'd like to make an announcement. One thing we're involved in Selma is, yes, I need y'all, you just reminded me, if you give me your name and address, I can put you on a mailing list and keep you abreast of a lot of things we're doing. So please, if you leave your names and addresses. One thing we asked our school board to do in Selma was to include in the curriculum, because they're all about, they claim, revising the curriculum. And we asked them to put a study of course, in the voting rights movement, because their parents and their grandparents participated in that movement and made that history. A history that not only impacted Selma, but the whole country and the world. It's a tragedy that the children don't even know about. But in order to make sure that struggle and the struggle for women's suffrage and suffrage from all disenfranchised people took place, we want a voting rights living museum institute in Selma. And of course, the mayor, the same mayor we had 25 years ago, followed so. But it was a miracle. A few months ago, we were able to acquire one building by the Endless Pettis Bridge where Bloody Sunday took place 27 years ago. And it was just a miracle that we were able to get this building, because again, we didn't have a whole lot of money. And the architect told us, well, you know that building's not big enough for a museum. And lo and behold, last week we signed a contract, no money, but we signed a contract to purchase the other building. And these are the buildings. You get see them real good. And these buildings will be located right by the bridge. And we will house the story, not just the voting rights movement of the 60s, but going back to the beginning of this country, when women, blacks, and browns, we were all locked out of the table of democracy, to tell the whole story of the right to vote, because the story is not over. You may have read in your papers that the Supreme Court just gave a devastating decision against the Voting Rights Act. But one thing we had that we depended upon was the Voting Rights Act. Even conservative judges interpreted and applied it to gain so that we could gain some political power. Unfortunately, Justice Thomas joined other conservatives on the court, struck down a major and supported efforts in Alabama to do away with the Voting Rights Act. And I have a case before the Supreme Court also, so it just seems as if on that score we're going backwards, and this Voting Rights Museum is very critical so that we can begin to tell that story in one concentrated place, so the story of this continuous right to vote. And on March 7th and 8th, we got it in the audience, we're having a festival, what we call a Bridge Crossing Jubilee in Selma, where we're going to have a pre-show of the museum, and we're asking people to show their support for the people who gave their life by registering to vote. That's what we're asking people. We're not even begging them money, as much as we need money for this museum. The people we're saying, bring us your vote, because we still have the same there, and hopefully this year we can get rid of it. So we just need you to keep in mind that in the future you might be asking for your support for our voting rights museum.
I enjoyed the speech thoroughly. I just have a couple of questions. My first question is, do you have, how active are the parents? You know, the schools, organizations take an awful rap because the people who schools are working for aren't around. I don't know about Selma. I can only speak about things that I've been exposed to. And I have found that if you have an active parental group, you're in and out of that building, and you have access to records, et cetera, and what the curriculum is all about, that this keeps that school official on his or her toes. But if you're absent, anytime they see parents in a problem, then hey, you know, you've defeated yourself. So I put a lot of onus on parents. I'm a parent, you're grandparents. But if you aren't there, no magic to this. You've got to beat it. The funny thing is that someone comes to do an electrical job in your house, and you take the day off. You're around, you had electricity, you want to plug in, you want it there. But to send the kid off to school, you don't even know that the PTA is meeting Friday night or Thursday night. And I blame all of you for a lot of baloney and stuff that goes on in these buildings. It's your building, okay? Because if you don't get that parental group in there to work with you, you might as well go down here to the big beat with a shovel, right? Tie that. All I have to say.
Well, I disagree with you to some degree. Let me say this. I don't think it's parents, it's people.
Well, may I just come to argue the point? I don't want.
Let me just make my point. What I'm saying is, just like we have a Christian responsibility to reach out to people, whether they're doing their job or not, I think we put too much on the parents. Not because, I'm saying, as long as, I don't mind criticizing the parents, but let's not use this as an excuse for us not doing anything. I guess that's what I'm saying, because our parents were involved.